What's going on, guys? This is Kevin and Nick again here with the NK Pod. We told you we'd bring some awesome entertainment, and we are bringing it to you right now. We have on the Zoom call right now Justin Taylor from the Justin Taylor Band. Nick, do you want to say anything before we get started with this? Because it's going to be a good time.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be an awesome time, guys. I'm super excited to have you on, JT, man. It's been a while,
this is
since we've hung out, man.
True.
But for those of you that don't know, I actually used to play with JT. Man, it's been a while since that. It's already been, 3-4 years ago
Yeah,
already.
almost 4 years.
Yeah, man. So me and JT go way back. Thought it'd be an awesome time to have him on the podcast, learn a little bit more about him, what he's been up to, how the band's going, and just have an awesome time. This is going to be a great podcast, and we're going to have some fun. JT, what's going on tonight, man? How you doing?
There's a lot going on tonight, but let me tell you what, I'm doing fine. I'm doing just fine. And me and my son, we just had some chicken nuggets from Wendy's, and he ate all of my chicken nuggets, so I had to cook him an additional chicken breast that I had in the refrigerator. And you know what? He's sitting over there watching his cartoons, and we're about to have a good old time on the podcast, so I'm excited to be here.
Awesome.
Oh, man, thank you for joining us. This is all completely new to me. Like we said, we really wanted to bring some good entertainment on. We've seen some of the things on Facebook. He's told me things on personal accounts that y'all have done when y'all are going on shows. This is going to be interesting what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah. Oh, I lost him. I lost it. I think it's frozen.
Zoom just completely
All
disconnected.
right, we're going to be it's actually still recording.
It's still recording.
Guys, we're really sorry about that. We had a little technical difficulty right there. We lost connection with Justin Taylor, but we're back. What were we talking about before? Because I just lost my marbles. So
I was just saying, go check Justin Taylor Band out on Spotify, YouTube, everything. I was telling JT I like Wide Eyed and 17 that y'all have released a little while back. I saw y'all finally put out Better Days recorded. I remember playing that back when it was just a song we had, so I really like that on the recording, man.
Yeah. Sure. It was a real fun time recording that one. That's probably my favorite to this day.
Yeah. Well, once again, for those of you that haven't heard the Justin Taylor Band, JT, can you tell them a little bit about like how you got started? You know, back in the OG days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of the Justin Taylor Band.
Yeah. So it happened. You know, I played guitar, and when I was younger, throughout the middle school and high school. And then I started singing in my bathroom, like with my guitar, not in the shower or anything. I always sing in the shower like everybody else does with the Celine Dion's and the and all that other nonsense. But no, I used to take my guitar into the bathroom, and I would sit there and I would strum on it, and I would sing and I would sing and I would sing, and I could hear my dad from the other room, "Shut up!" He just couldn't stand it. And so as I kept singing through the years, I started singing at 15. It took me about a year to get where my dad wouldn't yell anymore. And so I was like, all right, maybe this is going somewhere. And then I would sing in my room where the walls are a little bit more thin, and he wouldn't yell. And then one day he was like, hey, man, do you want to come sing at my cook-off? My dad's a barbecue cooker. And I said, yeah, dude, what do you want? Like, just me and my guitar? Didn't know anything about audio engineering, PA, anything like that. And he was like, no, I want you to get a full band together in 3 days and be able to play for 4 hours. And I was like,
oh, my God.
Sure. Okay. I was like, perfect. That sounds good. So I called up a bunch of buddies, Scott Alarcon, Ethan Connor, and Levi Chesney were the first guys. Levi had a drum set. I knew Ethan from church, and Levi was his friend. And Scott played a guitar, and I played a guitar, and I sang. And we basically just threw together one set, like 1 hour long set, and played it 4 times the whole night. And my dad was like, oh, this is so good. Like, you should come back tomorrow night. And so I was like, cool. I came back the next night. I had like just a little freaking Boss speaker I plugged my microphone into, and I had an acoustic like wedge guitar amp, like little 10-watter. And we brought the drum set out, we brought Ethan out, we brought everybody out, and we played that show. And literally from that point on in 2015, like early 2015, we never stopped playing. And it's just grown and grown and grown from there.
Yeah, yeah. I remember seeing y'all play. You know, that year. I think y'all originally started. What the first shows I think were late 2014, and then going in 2015 is when y'all really kicked off.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, "Dang!" Because for the first time I ever met you was actually, believe it or not, because we went to the same high school together. I remember seeing you used to walk around the cafeteria playing your guitar
Yeah, I
and
was that guy.
singing during lunch period.
You did
Yeah,
what?
Yeah, I was that
Yeah.
guy. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, so I had this friend, his name was Armando, and he thought he was a rapper. And he was like, "Yeah, man, you should bring your guitar. We should put out a tip jar at
Because
lunch."
acoustic and rap go together well.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I mean, hey, Ed Sheeran did it, but I digress. Um, but yeah, and so I brought my guitar and we would just sit and lunch and we would pull all the threes and the fours and they would be like, "Yeah, you guys are so good," and we'd be like, "Yeah, girl, yeah, we can guitar."
Goodness.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that vividly. So that's how I knew about you, and then I saw y'all had a band going, and I remember thinking like, man, these guys are so good. Like, I'd love to play with them one day. Never thinking, I'd ever actually play with y'all. And I don't remember. I think it was Chance DeBose that ended up. I was talking to him one day, and y'all were looking for a drummer or something. I remember I sent in that cheesy little video to y'all.
I know, it was so good. I
Yeah.
loved every second of it. Normally it's
Wait,
so
what
funny.
video?
It's so. I'll tell you right now. It's so
He
funny
probably still
because
has it.
I have it. I'll probably send it to you guys after this.
Oh
Yeah.
heck yeah.
So it's when we ask for people to send us a video, normally it's like, "Hey, send me a picture of you playing a live song with your other band." Well, Nick, I guess, didn't have a band, so he set up a camera in his room and his drum set. He just played through some cadences, like just did some drum beats and shit. He did a little solo, and he was like, "Hey, that's my audition." And
Yeah. Yeah.
Heck yeah,
and I
man.
was like, "All right, this is a good video." And I showed it to the boys, and they were like, "Yeah, let's have him in for rehearsal." And we used to rehearse at his mom's house upstairs.
Yeah, in the game room, man.
Really?
Yeah, our first days of when I was in the band, we rehearsed in the game room. Like, we did like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
So-
Todd would always try to beat us up.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
The infamous Todd.
The Todd.
I love Todd. I hate him, but I love him. It's like a love-hate thing.
What's funny is you even tell him that too in person. So he's gonna be watching this. I can't wait for him to watch this.
I know. I always tell him that. He acts. It's like, you would think that the way he acts, I don't tell him that to his face, and I do. I just love him.
Yeah.
I love him.
Pretty much Bubba Booey.
Yeah. Yeah. But I remember, man, you go in the 2015s. I think I joined y'all. What was that, late 2015, when you already kind of had a foundation going, and we kind of built in going into 2016 for a bit. And man, that was a pretty fun time. What do you think about that year 2016? I felt like that was a really foundational year for you, regardless of any band situations, just for you yourself and the brand you stand for.
Yeah, it was a big move because this whole Texas country music scene, these Red Dirt guys, they're real like, you need to have a fiddle, and if you're not playing a steel guitar, then you're not playing country, and we were really not that. We were like in the studio with Wade. We had a lot of indifferences with Michael, but Michael he ended up liking the music and it was good, but it took a turn from like us trying to be whoever the next big pop star was, or the Aaron Watson, or at the time Cody Johnson wasn't barely that big. He was just a guy that was touring around with us, and who's going to be the next that guy? And we were like, well, let's just take the foundation of that music and put our own little rock and roll twist on it. And that's what we did. And when we put out that Trouble in the Dark video, it had cheesy country music lyrics, but it wasn't really your cheesy country music. And we did a cheesy country music video to it, but it was still cool. I mean, we still had a really good time, and it was like kind of pushed us into radio, and it kind of pushed us into the northern parts. We had a lot of radio play in Seattle and a lot of radio play, all over that coast there.
Mm-hmm.
And, it kind of pushed us that direction. That's my son.
Yeah, I remember we did that. Well,
Duty calls, Dad.
What city was that in Washington? We had that radio.
What's wrong, buddy? What happened? What happened? What's I don't know what that means.
Bring him on. Bring
But
him
this
on.
is
There he is.
Already on camera. Look at that.
Already.
Yeah, so that show, not show, we did that radio recording. I remember when we were releasing Trouble in the Dark and everything. What city was that in Washington? It was somewhere. I think it was by Portland or something.
Yeah,
that was funny.
It was a major radio station, and I remember we were listening to it. They had us on we called it on the phone, and it was Luke Bryan played, Jason Aldean played, and then they played our song.
The Justin Taylor band was big in Washington.
Like huge.
Really?
They wanted us to come down there like so many
We
times.
were like the equivalent to 100.3, the Bull down here, and
But in
Washington
Washington?
State. Yeah,
How does that even happen?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
If y'all ever played there live?
And what happened was the receptionist for that radio station was like a huge fan, and she was like, "You got to get these guys on. I'm sure they'll be on." And they called us, or they emailed us, our management at the time, and they're like, "Hey, we want you guys to come and be on this radio." And we're like, 17, 18 years old, and we're like, "Yeah, we're gonna be huge."
Yeah.
And then they didn't even ask us relevant questions. They were like, "Who kills the spider?" And I was like,
yeah, it was weird. Who kills the spider? Like, that was one of the questions. Like, which one of you guys is the one that kills the
They do
spider?
that to celebrities all the time. They'll ask some things that are like that completely off the wall, and sometimes they'll ask things that are inappropriate questions. Like when they're asking about Jonah Hill and his weight loss, he's like, "Okay, I'm more than my weight thing."
Oh, he gets so mad when people ask about that.
Well, yeah, because I mean, it's a little insulting when people are so talented and they start talking about. You think they're going to talk about your next stuff and things like that, but they just kind of go off the wall somewhere.
Well, yeah.
A funny story though about Trouble in the Dark, and I'm in the 2016 range right now, and then we're going to move forward. But I just had some funny experiences we had together. I think people find funny. Before we recorded our Trouble in the Dark music video, you remember? I think it was like a month or two before that, we went and played a show down in San Antonio, and if you remember right, there was this group of girls that was at that show, and they were like talking to us and everything after, and I'm not sure what ended up happening then. I just remember they loved the Justin Taylor band.
I remember that. Yeah, we were playing in Cibolo.
That's
Texas.
right, Cibolo, Texas. Right outside of San Antonio.
Okay.
Yeah, I figured you find this funny, but when we recorded, right, I never thought we'd see these girls again, right?
They showed up to the music video.
I walk out of the restrooms and stuff behind the stage setup, like with my clothes still like in my hand, like walking back to my truck that was parked in the field or whatever behind that. And I walk out of the restroom, and these four girls are like literally, they went under the tape and everything, got behind the stage. And I remember I walked out, and they looked at me, and the thing is like, I don't know how they knew my name or whatever. And they were like, "That's Nick." And I just looked at them. And I just kept walking.
It's me.
But then I think you ended up talking to him later that night. But I thought that was so funny. Like, they came from Cibolo, Texas, San Antonio, wherever they're from, all the way over to the music video.
Pasadena.
And Pasadena, Texas.
They came for Nick. That's what they came for.
No, they came for
the
came
drummer.
for JT, man.
That's my popular belief.
JT has and always will be the heartthrob thing going on. Yeah.
So what about the story? You told me one. The story about when y'all went to, but you were under 21 at the time.
I was under 18 at the time.
You were under 18, and he was the drummer, so he just came in. Everyone just kind of, you tell the story. It's too good.
Yeah. Well, do you remember that like by chance, JT?
The first time or the second time?
The first time.
There's a second time. Okay.
Well, the second time they didn't mess with us because they knew. But the first time, he like we loaded in, and they were like, "All right, you need to go to the front, and you need to show them your IDs so they can mark your wrist to show that your age." And it was like the owner. He had like this little. He was probably like I don't even know his ethnicity, but he didn't like. He was just like yelling at us, like, "You guys need to go right now, and you guys need to get your IDs taken." And so we were like, "All right, cool." So we go to the front, and just casually, and everyone gets their mark, because we're literally every single one of us, but Michael, who was like 10 years our age, is 10 years our age, uh, gets the X, and then Nick just comes up and he's like,
Oh.
and they were
I'm
like,
like a baby at that time, dude.
they're like,
Oh, man.
"You're not even old
There.
enough to be in this club, bro." And
Yeah. I
and he
was
was like, "Well, I'm
17.
playing with the band," and he was like, "There's no band here tonight." And it was like we're playing in the back, like the country hall, and so they throw this huge fit, and he's like, "You need to leave." And so Nick like walks out, walks around the back, walks in the back door we came in, gets on the drum set, and we play the show.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Savage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just walked around.
I'm just gonna call him and say, "Open the back door."
That's
Yeah.
all he did, and he just walked right in the door, walked right at the drum set. We freaking clicked in, and we went to the show.
Yeah, they can't kick us off once we're on stage.
I-
You know? Yeah.
Can they? We don't know.
They can.
maybe.
I
They can.
doubt it.
They
definitely
can. They definitely legally can. So, but yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, that's 2016. Anyways, that was pretty awesome. When we play Marble Falls and everything that year. But I know you've done a whole lot since I was in the band with you. So like, what's been happening? Like, 2017 since.
Well, I mean, since we 2017, there wasn't a weekend I was at home. That we were Friday through Sunday playing shows everywhere. I mean, everywhere. We went to freaking Kansas, all at Alabama, just anywhere on the coast. We were there. We didn't play in Arizona. That was the one thing. Arizona was the one we didn't hit. I was kind of upset about it. But yeah, Arizona was like the one place we didn't hit, and I was super upset because I wanted to go through Arizona because I've been told it's a cool drive. But 17 was pretty much just very non-productive studio wise. But yeah, we didn't really put anything out as far as music in 2017. We really took it real slow, and we didn't take it slow, but we were touring, and we were kind of recording here, kind of recording there. The money that we were spending, we were just like buying gear and then selling gear and then buying merch and then selling gear. And then it got to the end of 2017, and we took a little bit of break until about February. And February, because something happened in February. We had a contract dispute with JSU. They called us back, but that was it was like a real short thing, but it brought up other things. And so we took a little break, and it was from about December to February. And we came back and we hit it hard in 2018. And in 2018, we went to everywhere again. We put out in December, we toured. It was just touring. Like we went everywhere, all over Oklahoma. Just, you can't even imagine some of the stories I could tell you that would not be friendly to any kind of thing.
Yeah, but I can imagine.
But man, we got crazy. I'll tell you a couple stories in a minute. But once we released, and in December we released that record. I believe it was like December 28th or something, right before the new year. We released that EP, Better Days. And when we released Better Days, man, it just went whoosh, and like it was everywhere. People were DMing us here. We were having I think 1,200 streams a week, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for zero national promotion, it's pretty impressive.
That's pretty a lot.
And it was like 1,200 streams a week for like 3 months, and it was like Canada, a lot of Canada, like 200 streams a week in Canada, all over the U.S. And there was only surprisingly enough, there's only 300, 400 streams a week in Texas, and they were not in Houston. They were like Austin, College Station. And so we were like, this is weird. We need to move. We need to go and be elsewhere other than Texas, because for 2017 and 18, majority of the touring was in Texas. And so we were like, we need to move. And so we started playing in Oklahoma, Grand Lakes in Oklahoma. That was a big popular spot for us. and man, it just got crazy from there. We played in Vegas, like we did the MGM.
Saw that. Yeah, all over plastered all over the hotel.
Yeah. So they actually the on the MGM where it says like there's only one billboard on the MGM. There's two technically, but there's one big one, and it's a digital one, and it met for 24 or 23 hours and 55 minutes. It's David Copperfield across it, but for 5 minutes a day they go through all of the events happening in the MGM. But for 5 minutes, they go through all of them. And so we just sat there and waited for the 5 minutes to come to snap the picture. And then we snapped that picture of freaking the St. Patty's Day green that they had on there.
Yeah.
And we had this black Justin Taylor Band logo, and we just photoshopped it onto the complete building of the MGM. And everyone thought it was like the huge MGM billboard, but it was not. In fact, the only billboard that we were on was the one in the back. It was probably no bigger than a school bus, and it just said Justin Taylor playing.
Oh, the one on Facebook that I'm seeing, the one that's on the hotel.
Yeah.
Okay.
But for 5 minutes a day, we were on the hotel, just not that big. It just happened to be. It worked. It was good promotion.
Same thing.
And a lot of people. Surprising, a lot of people came to Vegas because trips right then at the time were pretty cheap. There was like 15 people that came from Texas to go and see us play in Vegas.
That's super cool,
awesome.
Man. Y'all do any gambling or anything while y'all?
I got to tell you what, dude, I probably made like $400 a night in tips, and I don't have a dollar of that money because I immediately went on my breaks to the slot machines and spent all my money.
Slots is like donating to the cause for casinos.
Well, see, like what happened was I was like, I'm only going to spend $20 of my tip money on slot machines. Like I'll go and I'll play the blackjack table for like $100. But I was sitting there at the damn slot machine. It was the Tiger one. And it goes, "Rah, when you win." Yeah. And and I was pressing the button, and this woman next to me hits the double jackpot for like $12,000, and I'm like,
"Oh my goodness!"
Like I just watch her come up and put a 20 in, and I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah.
And so I caught the jackpot fever is what happened my second night there, and I just went and I was slot machine. I won $350 on a dollar slot machine on a 5, and I spent all that too.
You need to learn how to play roulette because it's the red and black game.
Oh yeah,
50%. Oh yeah. I won $400.
I cannot
that
go.
weekend. I earned my trip back because I went during COVID. I didn't.
I'll
care.
be there in a minute.
So.
Daddy's
Didn't
working.
care.
Huh?
Didn't care. Wow.
I know.
Messed up.
It's got to be Cooper. Cooper.
Someone farted in this room.
Damn it,
right now.
Cooper.
And it wasn't
You,
me.
Blake?
Damn it, Blake.
Oh my God! I'm gonna show Blake in the back.
Yeah, let's go ahead and show Blake.
Let's
Let
show
me see Blake.
in the
Everybody
back
give
over
Blake
here.
a shout
Wave
out.
Blake a shout out.
Woo, go Blake.
Blake, how dare you?
Blake, he said, "How dare you, Blake?" He can't hear you, so which means you can talk all the mess you want, and he can't.
Yeah. Yeah, well, cool, man. I know this year in 2020, no one's been playing really.
Yeah.
So I remember back in the day, and yeah, you're Kaden is her name, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yes.
Your girl's name is Kaden, right?
Yes,
Yeah, correct. So I know, I know she's probably well aware, of everything. But I know back in the day, man, you were a ladies' man, and we were living the band life and everything. So first of all, congratulations! I see you were having another son,
Second child
coming
correct.
up. So congratulations!
Thank you.
That
Second
is
spawn.
really awesome.
Look, I'm 2 away from a full band. All right, I'm 2 away.
Yeah, you could have the JT5 going on here
Gonna be
soon.
keeping up with the
going.
Kardashians. All right, I'm just gonna take it to a whole other level.
For sure. Hey, well, they canceled, man, so there's a void going on right now. We
Yeah,
can
I
do
know.
something.
I just need to become a lawyer, get murdered, and then my family will be rich for life.
Yeah. Yeah. Where I was going though is, this year's put a lot of different things in perspective. And, like I said, back in the day, band wise, you were a ladies man. All of us at some point were, but what's it like? I mean, it looks like it's pretty darn awesome, with the life you got going on now with Caden and your son. You got another one along the way. What's that like, going from, kind of where you were doing now to this awesome, you got the band still, going, and then now you got an awesome family going. I bet that's really fulfilling for you.
Yeah, I would say fulfilling is a good word. Stressful is another good word. I've lost a lot of hair in between then. Yeah. That's a good word. That's a good couple words there for you. No, man, it's great.
Your facial hair? It looks like you shaved.
No, this is because I'm an inspector now. I got
An inspector now. Oh, okay.
And I have to, don't want to die, so I gotta, keep it down to the stash. But I've gotten a lot of compliments on the stash, so I don't want to hear it.
There you go.
No, but yeah, it's just it definitely opened my eyes to a lot of what's necessary and what's not necessary, and what's a need and what's a want. And it just comes down to what you need and what you want are the same thing, but you know how to separate the two.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just becomes, I could go out. Well, right now I couldn't because all the bars are closed. But I could go out and I could play every weekend if I wanted to. I got a list of 100 bars I could call, and they would let us in no problem because we've built a lot of good friendships over the last almost 5 years now. But it comes down to I can play 3 shows a month and get the same joy and the same amount of push online with the online being what it is now with your outlets you have now, and you spend just the same amount of money. I could take the money I spent on gas touring all over this country and put it into online social media promotion. And it's just, you got to find the time to spend with your family, and you got to find the time to put in the maxed effort you can to your career without
right. Yeah, you're finding a healthy balance between it now.
Yeah. And that's just what it comes down to. A lot of people call it giving up or quitting or not being a professional anymore, but there's a priority, and some people don't have children, and some people don't have the priority. Hi, I'm not your mommy. Yeah, get out of here. You want another thing? You want another Sour Patch Kid? Yeah, here you go. Take 3. Take 3. Don't tell your mother. Here.
Well, she's gonna see it.
Oh well.
She's gonna see it.
She'll find out
anyway,
then.
So.
She'll find out then.
She got
yeah. It's just finding that balance, and for a little while it was real hard because it was for the last 5 years that's what I did, and that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I felt I was getting the most joy out of. But towards the when I switched over to focusing more on the family part of it, it was more like I was going out just to go out and make money to pay off the gear we got, or we were just going out to play some more music because that's what we had to do. But now that we are playing far and few between, our last show we played, there was a huge turnout, and so it almost benefited, taking it slower, and it's building a demand again, because people haven't seen what is the Justin Taylor Band in a while, and in the last 6 months before COVID, and then from the 6 months from January to whatever. The Justin Taylor Band has turned into something completely different in its own as that, and so we're really excited to. We've been recording at Chuck's. We've been recording at Wade. We've been, we've just got a lot of influx of different creative juices coming together at once, and we're really excited to have this new sound come out and
Yeah, because you sent it to us just like a half hour ago.
That's something completely different.
Oh, I was about to say, because what you sent us, I was like, we looked at each other and our jaws dropped, and I was like, Fallout Boy?
Yeah.
What happened, baby?
But yeah, I was astounded by that. I was like, Texas country music artists and everything. I was like, cool, everything that we were talking about, the entertainment. And then he sends us that to us. Oh yeah, this is the little project I'm working on that no one's heard of.
Yeah,
I guess except for us. So
there's like 5 or 6 people that
that's
have
kind
heard.
of cool.
Yeah,
5 or 6 other people, and I was like,
thanks for sending that over, dude. Yeah, we'll probably be jamming into it because after this podcast,
even Blake was like,
Yeah.
what? Like that?
Yeah, man.
That's Justin Taylor. The one we're talking to is that's the one.
We've actually, me and my buddy Bamer, we've been playing a couple shows around the Austin area as that group. And man, I gotta tell you, in Austin, there's a bar called Jack and Ginger's, and they're like an alternative, like just do whatever you want kind of bar. And we've played it twice now, well 3 times. We played the first time they had us back. The second time they begged us to come back. And this last time we played, it was COVID. It was like 3 weeks ago. No, it's a month ago now. And it was packed. There wasn't a seat in the place. People were there, and they were there to party with us. And it was as that group, man. It was really cool. But yeah, and that's a real fun thing that he and I do. It's just like a passion thing because we found it really hard to be getting into the country music and the red dirt because our new sound, which I should, but it's more rock. But this is something that we were doing, like we were just gonna have some fun, and it came from a file that we found from like 5 years ago, and we had done it in a studio, and we just had it mastered out, and then we added to it and put some lyrics on it. It was really badass, and I'm super excited to get that to people because the 5 or 6 people now, almost 10 people that I've showed, have just been like, "This is cool." And
yeah, I mean, we're probably going to be jamming to it on our speakers later tonight because after this, it's we're gonna full send it. So
yeah, dude, man, dude, we put a lot of fun energy into that, and dude, it's something that I haven't been like.
It's hard, man.
Yeah, dude. And basically, what it was, Bamer and I. He's the bass player, guitar player now. Michael Gorsuch just joined back up a couple months ago, and so he's been playing guitar. But
Mike.
But no, man, we love like that pop punk, like that early 2000s, late 90s, like Simple Plan, all that stuff. And we were like, let's just make a group. Let's just make a group and do that. And so we played in Austin, like I said, at Jack and Ginger's, and it was Justin Taylor, but we were like, hey, we're doing this new thing. And they're like, yeah, try it out. And we freaking killed it. We played one country song all night long, and it was Friends in Low Places. And so it was really cool, man.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Are you still playing that Bud Light song that we used to do in the cook-off tents?
Yeah, so we only play it at the cook-offs now. We were going to record it, but... So
there's just not a high demand from people for it?
Well, it's like
it's a high demand. It's a high demand song, but the way it was then, it just meant a lot more to the people that we were around because I was basically friends with every person that was at our shows. Because at the time, the only people that I ever played for were the people at the cook-offs. And so you could make a personal friendship with every single person as you went on because there was the only people you played for. And, that's a really hard thing to explain to someone who... That's my son shooting us.
Oh, okay.
Hey, you want to come show me your pal? Oh, I'm sorry.
That's funny.
Look, let's see if I can shoot him.
I'm not gonna say, but that reminds me of that video. Like, what does it?
Yeah,
sounds make? I was like,
but yeah, and so that's a hard thing to explain to people is when you start playing out of town and you start building all these different friendships and relationships with different people, and you start meeting more and more people. It's like people are like, "Oh, you forgot about us," and it's like, "No, I didn't. I just don't see you anymore." You know?
Yeah, I remember at one point when, even back when I was in, when you were just like, when the band was really starting to get going. I remember back then we were getting flack from, some of the people back home, Pasadena, Deer Park, saying like, "Oh, y'all are going out too far from y'all's base," and it's like, well, y'all are saying you
gotta
want
grow.
the band to expand and get big, and then y'all get mad because we're playing in Austin.
You can't please anybody when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's
we're actually starting to figure out too.
Yeah, man,
Dude,
it's crazy.
We have people in our own circle that are giving us flack for our own podcast.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's
just
like, you know what? Fine,
dude. It just take this whole Spotify thing that they're complaining about now. The Spotify pay its users or its artists a lot less than it should, absolutely. But they're hating on the owner who made a $1 billion company from the ground up for making $1 billion. Like, oh, sorry, man. I didn't mean to go and make $1 billion all on my own hard money, you know?
Well,
like,
that's
don't hate on
capitalism, though. If you assume all of the risk and you put in all the work, then you should have a high reward. Now, of course, there's,
But yeah, man, you put in all the risk. You're exactly right, Nick. You put in all the risk. You fork out hundreds of thousands of dollars of your own money once you're able to apply for those kinds of loans. And then you take that risk. You take that risk on your life, on your credit, anything. And that's with any business. But Spotify, and then you've got all these freaking honorary, I can't believe this artists that are like, freaking Chance the Rapper won 3 Grammys and he never sold a song in his life. Before, I don't know if you guys remember this, Chance the Rapper was famously known for only streaming through Spotify. He didn't sell his music. He wanted people to just be able to have it for years. For like his first 3 albums, he did that.
Well, the money, at least when I was in it, from what I remember, pretty much the money these days is only in touring and merchandise, really, correct?
Yeah. It's, you gotta suck it up. Baby, I don't want to shoot you anymore. Yeah, I know he's right there.
I don't want to shoot you anymore.
He loves to play. He loves cowboys, westerns.
He loves playing shooting.
Yeah, and he has this old pistol, and he's just like, pa, 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 I'll shoot you. No, baby. Here, I'll play with you in 5 minutes, okay? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Before we start closing out, I just wanted to ask you, with COVID and everything going on, what's your opinion on the music scene right now? Do you think there's going to be a forever long-term effect on this in a negative way?
Listen.
Go ahead.
The music scene's been dying for a long time. The music industry is a dying industry. Whereas it's probably never more like easy to be famous. Like for someone to be famous is it's the easiest time to be famous because you have Facebook,
make a TikTok, 10 seconds long,
and that's the problem. And the problem with the music industry is any kid can go and spend $300 and get them a at-home studio, spend $100 more and get Melodyne and make a rap song that can play on the radio tomorrow. And that's what's happening. People are going and they're gonna buy Splice. They're gonna get Splice on their TikTok and they're gonna record a 30-second cover of some Adele song and they're gonna put a rap beat behind it and they're gonna be famous by tomorrow because they've got 3.5 million views on TikTok.
Oh yeah, I have a friend right now that's famous on TikTok. I'm not going to say his name
anymore because it's down.
Oh yeah, it's going down.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's going to be bought out. It'll go down and it'll be bought out. Some American company will buy it out in 3 months.
It will happen, but if not, it will rebrand into something.
But the problem is, the music business is about to have a huge regression. It's going to be to where it's going to go back to where you're going to have to spend all this money again, and it shouldn't have had to be like that. But these producers and whatnot, they've taken advantage
I'm
I'm excited to hear a little bit of internal politics that y'all dealt with, and you don't need to say don't say any specific band names. You can just say band number one, band number two, just for anonymous purposes. But things you encountered that are like politics wise, going like trying to get bigger, things that happen that somebody bigger doesn't like, and then
Yeah, I mean, and that's another thing. These guys, they become, especially in the Texas scene now, with the social media of everything, they
right,
build these personas behind the music, right? And it almost becomes like, you got band A who's got this online persona like he's a Billy Badass and like he's a rock star and he wears jorts and he wears freaking Jordans on top of him with his hair in a ponytail and plays, just punk rock music. And
I
then you
wonder who you're
ask,
talking about.
and then you ask
I know
his,
who you're talking about now. So
and
now I
then
can put
you,
some context.
and
Okay.
then
Yeah.
you go and you talk to the people who've known him for years. And like, oh, he's just a sweetheart. He's just this
Yeah.
nice old
They,
Southern
they
boy.
have a character to play on stage.
And then what happens is they make it big. And then you've got you've got guy number two who can't really sing. He's kind of tall. He's kind of good looking, but he's got excellent producers behind him. And then he makes a persona, and it's like this cocky, kind of almost arrogant, but it's cool to be arrogant, cocky. And then the fans by the thousands just
Are just
flock towards
asking
them.
him to be arrogant and
Yeah, but yeah, and they love it. They eat it up, and then the people who are making actual good, decent music become irrelevant. And so you got people who put out their new song, and you can't even tell what genre of music it is, and that's really what ruins the idea of genres. And what ruins the
Yeah.
idea of genres is when you start just to mix them. Like, oh, well, we can do whatever we want, and that's good. You can absolutely do whatever you want when you make music. But the problem
that's
is
what
you
being an
ruin it.
artist is about.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll never dog anyone for making any kind of music they want, and that's awesome.
Mhm.
But what happens is the personalities that they bring into the scene, and the fans change their mind, and they don't care what to hear. So you're cool with being famous for 3 months, and then you drop off, and then everyone's looking for that same kind of music and that same kind of persona. They don't care about old whoever Joe, John Cusack or whatever, playing real music, been playing for 10 years. He went through where he had to pay, $1,200 to get, 500 CDs made. He went through the having to spend all your money on gas to do radio tours. He went through that, and then now he's trying to adjust, and he keeps staying on top. But then he comes back a little bit more because you got so and so coming in, and they got a TikTok, and they made a funny video, and people like it, and so they're gonna say that that's what music should sound like now, and that's really where it comes from. I mean, and it's the same thing with TikTok or not. And I'm not hating on TikTok. There's a lot of cool shit on TikTok. And you got people on TikTok, and Facebook, and they make literally anyone can make a 1 minute and 30-second video and sound good. You can run it through Melodyne, auto tune it, and put it out, and people are like, "Give this guy a record deal." He'd
Yeah.
never play
That's how
live
Justin
show.
Bieber got famous. He was all famous off of YouTube. He was
That's how-
covering stuff and making his own music on acoustic stuff. And someone somewhere said, "Give that man $10 million."
Yeah, I
Who
think
was
Yeah.
that
Scooter
man,
Braun.
that boy
Yeah.
at the time? Well, I think when he signed, he was like 12 or something.
Yeah,
or
He was
13?
super young.
Yeah, I mean,
Super
and,
young.
and
13.
Kane Brown.
13.
I truly
Blake's a
believe.
huge Justin Bieber fan.
Yeah, huge.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just loves him.
Fine. But no, I truly believe that the downfall of the music business is the technology, and we've kind of created our own downfall kind of thing. Because whereas this accessible, you can go and get freaking a Sonar, which is a recording software. You can get Sonar for free now, and it's an incredible recording software. You can download it on your Mac. You can go get a Mac for $800 at a pawn shop, and you can make what people spend thousands and thousands of dollars and countless hours on. You could make a 30-second video of you singing a cover with auto tune all the way on, and somebody gives you 30 seconds of fame here and there. And a prime example is, a lot of people say this, and I am on the same train. The Old Town Road guy was the downfall of the music industry, because he was a troll. He came out as a troll, and then he decided, hey, I'm actually going to go into music, but he had the number one song. What was it? It was voted the best song of 2019.
Oh, he
Old
was
Town
like
Road.
record number of weeks, I think,
Yeah,
as number
record
one.
number. And all he did was take a beat he bought off of YouTube for $5 and put,
Well,
like,
Yeah, I
come
mean,
on.
good for him. On
Yeah,
that, on his success. I don't mind. Like, I'll listen to the song. Like, I mean, it's a
and
catchy
that's what
song,
I'm
but
not saying that the song's bad,
yeah,
the
but I
song's
see where you're
catchy.
going.
But it
Yeah, I
took
see
him.
where-
It took him. He put 5 minutes of effort into that song. I guarantee you. And he just spammed Twitter. He even said it. He made multiple Twitter accounts, spammed Twitter for days and days and days, and then the song blew up. And it was at first it was like people were making fun of it, and then people started singing it, and then he's freaking
Now that's what
headlining Coachella.
Yeah, this is what they ask for in the nightclubs too. Now they are
Yeah,
paying
people want
money to
that
hear
song.
it, to tip out the DJ, and they won't play it unless someone comes and pays money because they know they'll pay money to hear it.
Yeah.
Now, where's that guy
I
at now?
went to a Kojo show in August when he put it at Toyota Center, dude, and man, he roasted that guy
dude.
on stage so
He
hard.
did?
Yes,
Oh yeah,
he
that guy's not
roasted
afraid
him.
to say what he wants.
No, Cody blasted him on
Stop.
stage, and at first I was kind of shocked, and I remember what Cody has always said what he's gonna say, and yeah, you can YouTube it because there's YouTube videos now.
Yeah, dude.
It was
And
funny.
that's
Yeah.
just the problem. And so it makes guys like me personally, this is just from me personally, it makes like, what's the point in even making music that matters? And then this is where you get this emotionless content from, because
Your
just
Cardi B's
imagine,
WAP on.
yeah, just imagine.
And all of a sudden,
Oh, that's gonna trigger all the girls right now.
I don't really
Yeah.
care. Because
Come on,
they're
the
not my
song's
audience,
terrible.
So.
It is. Dude, every day on Facebook, I'll see a post where somebody's condemning that song for whatever reason, and there's always a girl that's like, "How dare y'all say this?
Oh, she's just making her music. Yep.
She's just making
Empowering.
her music."
Empowering.
Yeah, empowering.
Lizzo, everyone's like, Lizzo empowers me. And that's cool. But her biggest song, Truth Hurts, was a ripoff of some guy that posted it on Twitter. It's a fact. She was sued. She was sued for millions of dollars, and the only reason she won is because her opponent ran out of money. They couldn't afford to keep pursuing the lawsuit.
Yeah,
Or all the appeals. They just have to appeal after.
Yeah, that's all she was
whatever
doing was
money
appealing.
wins
Was
that.
appealing.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
What's
that
song?
Truth Hurts.
I didn't know
Truth
that.
Hurts.
Why men great till they gotta be great?
Yeah, it's called Truth Hurts.
Wait, what? Wait, what? I don't.
And, yeah, it's-
Yeah, and
weird.
it makes people who are making music with their soul, like and putting everything they have into their music, want to just be like, why do I need to make music anymore? That's why you don't hear from people like John Mayer anymore. John Mayer puts out a single every now and then just to stay relevant.
yeah, his music is like so good too. It's
It's incredible.
I feel like the days of that mystique behind bands and that mystique behind people is what made people so huge. Like back in the day, like when
Now it's like
Kiss
an
was
artificial huge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, I mean, back when like the mystique of Kiss back in the day, ZZ Top, John Mayer had it, Nickelback, and all that. But now there's just all these things coming out. It's just it takes away. I think shows are going to kind of condense down to where if you're huge, you're playing House of
Yeah.
Blues now.
I mean, just think.
Yeah.
You think that they're gonna go and let freaking Hall & Oates play now? No, they're not making Hall. They're Hall & Oates or Daryl Hall and John Oates. They're not making it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sad to see. I think there's going to be a few some country artists that after COVID aren't going to be on the scene anymore because
Yeah, they can't afford
as you
it.
know, there's a point especially in the Texas scene being independent.
Well, there's a hierarchy. There's like,
Oh, you wanna
we
put it in
know
your
who are
pocket.
the big ones. We know who are like the medium-sized ones, and we know who are the people who are just starting.
Buddy.
And whenever
Mhm.
the big ones can't sell the outdoor amphitheaters because they're not allowed to be open, they have to go back to the big nightclubs, which is where the medium people were.
Yeah.
And so the medium people have to really try and market themselves to the nightclubs to prove we can be here too, or do openings depending on what kind of deals they make. But other than that, they're going to go back to the bars. And we even saw just locally, think Parker McCollum played here locally,
Yeah.
like at a bar. And, it was one of those. He sells out the Wolfpan Creek Amphitheater.
Yeah.
But, it's like, but they are forced to do that right now.
Saw he just played at Harry's, right, last weekend? Yeah.
I didn't know that was open.
That's also going to even the playing level. That sounds weird, but when they come back and they start allowing, stadiums to be open and these big artists to come back, I mean, just think about all this money. People are like, oh, they got millions of dollars. That's fine. I'll tell you who has the millions of dollars. It's the record company. And these people don't tour because they want to make more money. They're touring to pay the record company off. And the record companies are just sitting there just waiting to make that money, waiting to make that money.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to make them wait. But the guys who aren't on major record labels are going to come and play these local bars. And these guys that have been slacking it in their local scene, been playing around the same 3 bars for, 5 years, they're going to have to step their game up. And the weaklings will fall out, and the ones who want to work will make it. And that's just, if you believe in Darwinism, that's Darwinism.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because there's a point where you could be selling, 1,000 people crowds every night, let's say 250 to 1,000 people, but all your money may be going literally to paying your band barely enough money. That way it can keep everybody on the road, eating and everything, bills paid, and then replacing your equipment, paying for the gas and everything. But then if you stop those shows, all the money's gone and you can't keep going. So that's why I think there's going to be a lot of people that were big, kind of big, like, oh, so-and-so's coming to Houston this weekend. They're playing at Big Texas when that was, still a thing, or, Stampede Houston. And I think even Stampede Houston.
We're talking about
Big Texas
that's
closed
off at
down.
610.
Is it?
Because Big Texas in Clear Lake, that was
which one was it?
That's
that closed
now
down?
Rowdy's, if I'm not mistaken.
The Rowdy's is still open. They bought Big Texas Spring.
But there
Big Texas Spring, that's where I'm getting.
Big Texas Spring, and then Wild West closed down.
Wild West, that's the one I was thinking of. The one off of 610 on the rodeo side of Houston.
Okay, yeah, because I remember one closed. And I was like, oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, Wild West closed. I don't want to say thankfully, but unfortunately, it was not a music venue.
Wait, I got it. Why was it unfortunately closed?
No, I was just saying. Fortunately, it wasn't a music venue, so we didn't lose a music venue.
Oh, okay. I thought that you had bad beat. They were.
Oh no! Wild West. It was a dance. It was just like a yuppie dance hall,
Okay.
Mm.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just the music scene is going to have a weird rebuild after this. It's going to be very strange. Are we going to see influx in ticket sales? Most likely we're going to see an influx in ticket sales, but we're also going to see a rise in ticket prices because they're going to be trying to make that money back. And if it's not in ticket prices, it's going to be in merch prices, which are already insanely high. But you're
$35 for
you're going to see that money be made up somehow.
Yeah.
Platforms like iTunes and not Spotify, but like iTunes and Amazon Music.
Like at $2 a song now.
Yeah,
or something maybe.
You're gonna see it. I promise you, you're gonna see it. I called it right now. I promise you, you're gonna see these.
Mm-hmm.
Put it on.
That money. That money is
hope.
gonna be made. Is gonna be made up from somewhere.
Yeah, definitely so on that one. I don't know. I'm definitely ready for a good concert. I think a lot of people are going to be
ready to pay that money.
And
let me tell you, the record companies, they know this. They know this. I guarantee.
Oh yeah.
I guarantee you, these artists are making up the most incredible show you ever saw right now. Their guys are talking about pyrotechnics, firecrackers.
Oh yeah, I mean they have the break now where they can't perform to be like, I'm going to modify and make this the best dang show, and everyone's going to be doing it. So they're not going to be the best show. Shows are just going to improve, I think, just overall because they don't have to spend so much time on the road right now. Everyone's thinking the same thing. Oh well, when we come back, we're going to be the very best one, like you said, the pyrotechnics. Yeah. All the lights and everything that they've been waiting to put off, all those projects. It's like the in-home projects we saw at Home Depot. Everyone's renovating their houses now, and they're renovating their performances.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because what are the Texas guys going to do? Because none of these Texas guys do pyro or lights. There's a couple of guys I know that have incredible light shows. Sam Riggs, Cameron Nelson had an incredible light show. But like, what are these? Are they going to put? Are they going to put the time? Or are they just going to come back and play and cuss on stage? Like, what are they going to do? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be some polarization too when everything comes back between people that have.
You're definitely going to see who was working and who was, messing off the whole time.
Yeah, definitely so. And I can already think of a couple right now that I'm pretty sure they're going to come back and it's going to be like, huh, what?
Well, and also these Texas guys, who knows? Like you might see a rise in the Texas shows. You normally you can go to Harry's and get a $10 ticket and watch whoever, Will Green, whoever else plays there. I don't know anymore. Reed Southall. You could get a $10, $15 ticket at Harry's.
Right.
They're going to be trying to make their money up too. Who's going to go and pay $30 to see Reed Southall? Not me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly that too.
Or any college kid, at that point, So these guys are going to need to think of some way to do it. Shit, some of them might even just be like, it might be a positive thing. Like some of them might say, hey, we're just ready to play. Like, let's just go out there. $5 a ticket. Let's play,
That's awesome. Yeah. Man, JT, I really thank you coming on here. This was very informative. This was really awesome.
I had a good time.
Yeah, man. We're going to be promoting your stuff as soon as this is over. We're going to be finishing up the little bits.
Absolutely.
But man, I can't thank you again. This was a really awesome experience for us. So
yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, and before we end, real quick, where are you living at now? Gear Park again?
Yeah, Seabrook. I live in Seabrook.
Seabrook. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll need to get together soon.
Let's have some beer. I love beer.
Dude, I think it's already been a year since the last time you were on my porch. So
yeah, dude, that was so crazy. I would love to do it again.
We ran into each other at the Pasadena Rodeo last year. So
that'd be awesome. I'd love to get together. I'd love to.
Yeah, come on. Let's have some drinks
together.
I frequent College Station too, so.
Yeah.
Well,
man.
Well, I'm not gonna say where I'm at, but
yeah.
We'll coordinate it.
It's 1856. No, I'm just kidding. For sure, dude, man. Yeah, come up here. And we plan on. I'm sure there's gonna be other times we're gonna be on this show too. So we really appreciate it, man. Thank you for being patient. Getting everything set up earlier, and
no problem.
I'm definitely excited to get this released, and man, dude, thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
absolutely, buddy. Any last thing you want to say before you get off?
Well, thanks for doing the podcast, man. A lot of guys are trying to do it. You guys are doing it right. I seen some dudes just set up their camera and have just a computer thing. So you guys are putting some extra effort in. It's from me, outside looking in and being another professional. It's a different profession, but to another professional, it's good to see guys who are still actually going to put in some work and get some good things going. So
we really appreciate that.
We do. Yeah, when Kevin and I
long hours. We thought of this idea, and he even told me, and I completely forgot. I lost track of time. He said, "Man, it's just amazing how much was accomplished in 6 weeks." So like, it was only 6 weeks ago.
Yeah,
man.
6 weeks ago.
I was conjuring up the idea for a while, and I brought it up to Kevin. I was like, "Man, I'm kind of wanting to do this deal, but I just don't even know where we would start." And it
was a lot more than you thought it was, wasn't it?
Oh, so much more.
But it's so much fun. I mean, it's stressful sometimes, but I would. Yeah. This is our thing. This is what we're doing from now on. Yeah. And I don't care if no one listens to us.
It's our thing, man.
It's like be putting it out anyway.
We run this like if we're about to walk on stage, like before
man.
we
That's
go,
how you
it's
should.
like, sound check. Yeah. We're having a good time, man. We got music going. We're getting pumped up, so it's almost like, being in, in the band or something, dude. We have a good time with it. So
yeah. And let me tell you what, guys, if you guys keep going on this, man, and you keep putting the effort you have put into it, everything else will come. Everything else will come. But just focus on doing what you got to do, dude. That's all. Don't listen to the haters, because you'll have a lot of them. Whether you're doing good,
you can't please everybody.
Yeah.
And I honestly believe there's some people that go into the haters group that wishes they were doing what you were doing. And it's not. And so some of the critiques you get are actually constructive, and some of them you have to split up and be like, well, that was just because you're hating.
Yeah,
absolutely. But thank you guys so much. Like, I had a good time. I'm free to do it whenever you guys want to do it again. So just call me.
Okay,
absolutely, man. Go have fun with your kid. We're going to sign off right now. So